All right, good afternoon and a warm welcome to yet another edition of our weekly fascinating program, the Teachers Hour, a program that comes over every Saturday only on Jungle Online TV and number one entertainment and of course Education TV in the Gambia. And of course we are broadcasting live from our studios in Sukuta Lambai. And of course I'm your host, Babu Karab Jambi. Teachers Hour, this is the program where I look at the roles and the plights of teachers in the Gambia. And we shall continue to invite teachers and different stakeholders to discuss on our topics of discussion. And today in the studio, I'm joined by Mr. Amadou Kamara. Mr. Amadou Kamara is the newly elected the chairman of Region 1 Regional Executive Committee under the Gambia Teachers Union. And today we shall be discussing on the prospect of young teachers in the Gambia education system. Good afternoon and welcome to the program, Mr. Kamara.
Afternoon, Mr. Jame, and thank you for inviting me once more.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Kamara, and it's a pleasure having you today in the studio to discuss and, of course, dilate on the topic of discussion, which is the prospect of young teachers in the Gambia education system. But before we delve into the discussion further, I would like to ask you this question. Could you kindly tell us what really motivated you as you contested in the recent election organized by the Gambia, I can say GTU, the task committee for the election? What really motivated you or encourage you to contest in the just recently election?
Thank you very much, Mr. Jama. Just to say, Gambia Teachers Union is the umbrella union that represents teachers in this country. So, and serving in one of its organs, that was the Young Teachers Platform, as a regional coordinator, gives me a lot of knowledge and a lot of encouragement to rise up through the ranks and to contest in the election. Because as a young teacher, I took it upon myself as a responsibility. As it stands today, majority of the teachers or members of the Gambia Teachers Union are young teachers.
Yeah, sure.
So meaning, if a young teacher comes up in the leadership role, it's meaning the majority of the young teachers are the ones that you will represent at the level of the Gambia Teachers Union. And now if I am contesting, though I am representing the entire membership, not an organ, because like when I was serving as the young teachers representative, there I look at only the young teacher cohort. But now as a regional care person, I look at every member of the Gambia Teachers Union, young or old.
Yeah.
But the main motivating factor is, I took it as a responsibility to represent my people, because sitting in our booths at the schools, under the trees, or in WhatsApp platforms, castigating GTU, A, B, where, and other leaders, I think it's not going to help us as young teachers.
Yes.
The only thing that can help us is we come on board, take the leadership role, and make sure that the narrative change. That is why I took up the position.
Quite enough. That is quite interesting to hear that from you, Mr. Kamara. You one time served as the Vice President at the Gambia College School, I can say Gambia College Student Union, and also serving as the school representative, SR, for your school in Banjul, Mohamedan, Lobesi School in Banjul. And of course, also equally serve as the YTP coordinator for Joshua and Banjul. And of course, largely, we have seen that also serve in the position as a coordinator for Region 1. And just recently, you contested in the competitive election where you won as the regional chairman under the Gambia Teachers Union Regional Executive Committee. Now we go into this question. I would like to ask you, what significant role is usually played by young teachers in the Gambia education system?
Thank you very much, Mr. Jami. To begin with, the roles that the young teachers play in the education system in this country is significant.
Sure.
Because by looking at the statistics, you would understand that more than 60% of the teachers are young teachers recently. So they are the ones that are in the classrooms. Some of them are in administrative roles. Some of them are even education officials. So those that are in the classrooms, we would understand today, looking at the performance and the awareness the children are getting in our schools, is second to none. You know, those days, teachers only concentrate in teaching the syllabus and only teaching the knowledge aspect of it. But now we can see a lot of students are good debaters, they are good poets, you know. Some of them are good in all walks of life, actors, even as junior as grade 7, 8, 9, you know. So that tells you how much young teachers are, the efforts they are putting to make sure that our children get the best of education. Even though that there are numerous challenges they face in the school system, but they are really doing that.
Yeah, we definitely come to that level of the challenges faced by young teachers in our schools. But before that, Mr. Kamara, what is your comparison of the ratio of young teachers before and now?
The ratio now far outweighs the ratio of the young teachers then. Because in those days, people take teaching to be a field for the old.
Yeah, so.
You know, I can remember when I started teaching, I went to this school in the upcountry, and like everybody was like, teacher no, you know. That was the adjective they used.
Yeah,
because like in that community, I was among the youngest at the time.
Okay.
Who was there as a teacher.
Okay.
So that could tell you that as time goes on, the narratives keep changing.
Okay.
So right now, if not all, but in most of the schools, if you go, the young teachers are the majority in as staffs of those schools. Sure. So that tells you that the ratio now is too high in the field. That tells you that young people are now embracing teaching as a field, opposed to those days when people take teaching to be a stepping stone. Yeah. But now people are taking it as a career. Yeah. People are becoming teachers by choice, not by chance. So I think now the ratio is...
Yes, very well. We will definitely come to that. We'll look at some of those things before the end of the program. But before then, Mr. Kamara, you have seen a lot of students have been graduating from the senior schools, and largely when they finish senior school, they will join the Gambia College, where most of them will go to School of Education to be trained as teachers to come and serve the nation. But we'll definitely come into that before the end of the program. But now we talk about one thing here, that is the YTP, that is the Young Teachers Platform. I remember way back in 2018 or so, if I'm wrong, you may correct me. 2019 rather. This has been instituted and of course erected, or can say created by the Gambia Teachers Union. Why do you think such a platform was created for young teachers of this country?
Thank you, Mr. Jame. In 2019, remember, if you can remember, that was a Congress year for the Gambia Teachers Union. Okay. So when they went to Congress, when the Gambia Teachers Union went to Congress in 2019, a resolution was passed to create the Young Teachers Platform. Okay. And in fact, it is part of the Constitution to say the executive, the NEC, that is the National Executive Committee of the Gambia Teachers Union, can create any platform deemed necessary. Okay. So, and also, it was also a requirement, Gambia Teachers Union being a member of the Education International, EI, it's a requirement that hence, majority of the education trade unions or teacher trade unions are young teachers dominates their membership. So there is a need to have a youth wing. So in some countries, they call it youth wing. In some countries, they call it young teachers wing. So the nomenclature depends. So in the Gambia Teachers Union prefers to call it as Young Teachers Platform. Yeah. So an interim committee was constituted in 2019 to make sure that they popularize and teachers are sensitized, in which I was lucky to be part of those that were there. And we went around, I was the coordinator for Region 1, both KM and Banjul at the time. So we went around all the schools, we made series of meetings, series of consultation, and also brought up the policy, the bylaws, you know. So that was how it came about. So that is about the Young Teachers Platform, yeah. Okay,
since its inception, the Young Teachers Platform, as we stated, in 2019, what significant role have been achieved so far since the establishment of this group?
Good. Just like I said, like Young Teachers Platform is not like a parallel union of its own. It's an organ of the Gambia Teachers Union. Okay. So it's an organ that is created just like the way the GTU, CCU is created to look at the financial aspect of the teachers. It is the same way in which GTU Ladies Society is created to look at the gender aspects of the members. So it's the same way that the Young Teachers Platform is created to look at the issues affecting the young teachers. Okay. This says, he who knows it feels it. So this is it. So that is why when the Young Teachers platform was created, this platform that serves as a linkage between the young teachers and the leadership of the union.
Okay.
So because we feel like maybe if those that are serving at the level of the leadership are not young, maybe they may not know how it feels to be a young teacher in the field right now. So some young teachers will not want to have the confidence to speak out how they are feeling. But like, if you have, as they say, you are talking to your own boy, there will be no barrier in what you say. You say it the way it is, and you say it the way you feel. So that is one aspect of it. And as an organ, during the time, we were able to sensitize a lot of teachers on the affairs of the union. We would not come and say, we did this, we did that. No, because we are not a separate entity. Anything we do is GTU doing it. And we are all members of GTU. We are all serving the same union. But as an organ, what we do is we are serving a specific cohort, that is the young teachers. And what part of the problem that we feel the young teachers have is they have that disconnection with the union. And that was what we were trying to fix, to make sure that they don't feel opposed to their own union. Yes, they can be critical of the union, but it's not going to be like us and them, because when you say GTU, it's the members. So when you're counting GTU, it starts with you. So GTU is not somebody else. It's the teachers that are members of GTU that are paying. They are saying, those are the members of the GTU. So as an organ, you don't want to go around celebrating, we did this, we did that.
Yeah, certainly.
But for sure, what we do, teachers today know GTU more than they do before. Simply because of the existence of the YTP, because we are on the grassroots, we are constantly sensitizing teachers, and teachers are now, we created platforms where they can come on board to say how they feel, and we take it up.
I think that has an effect so far, and I will just come to that. As you can see, as you stated, the ushering of the Young Teachers platform, you have seen teachers have been taking part in discussions in different YTP platforms, that is Young Teachers platform, all over the country, from region 1 up to the last region 6. Young teachers have been coming on to discuss on some of the appliances that they have been facing in teaching system, teaching field, and in diverse form of the teaching education system of this country. So now this will take me to this question. What are some of the challenges normally or usually faced by young teachers in this country?
Yes, if you say challenges that the young teachers feel in this country right now is the resources. The teaching and learning materials in our schools is a problem. You go to a school, like more especially in the primary schools right now, having textbooks to teach is a problem. And you could imagine with the number of class sizes. For instance, you go to schools like Serekunda, Latrikunda, you will find out that in a single class, you'll have around 40 plus students, one teacher managing those students. You could imagine the noise those kids will make in that class.
And sometimes it becomes difficult to manage that class.
Very, very difficult to manage. And the kind of policies we have, will also make you as a teacher to feel very difficult to control them, because of some of those policies are not friendly to the realities on the ground. Because we cannot put 40 students or 40 young boys and girls in one class and you say, we are not supposed to send anybody out who disturbs. We are not supposed to punish anybody corporally who disturbs. And look at just asking somebody to keep quiet alone cannot make certain things in order in the class. So all those things are challenges we face, The teaching and learning materials, the concrete materials that you need in the classroom, it's a problem. Sometimes you go to a whole school, you'll find out that there is no grade 6 textbook. Let's say if there is, it's only one. Sometimes teachers will go and buy their own textbook that they will use in the class. Sometimes it's disheartening, even though that we have SIG. So look at just what happened last year. SIG was not paid first time, was not paid second time until end of third term. So all those things are challenges.
And some people also may like to say, sometimes we have been talking about this in our previous programs here, we discussed about some of the incentives of teachers is lacking on the side of teachers. Sometimes young teachers have been complaining about this. And sometimes if you come to the diversion, young teachers and of course, looking at their perspective, young teachers and the old teachers in the system, their perspective diverse when it comes to the area of incentives. Because we sometimes be hearing some old teachers be saying that we have been we enjoy in this kind of situation, and we bear to see that we try to serve the nation by teaching the young ones in our schools. But nowadays, young teachers will say no. The recent thing cannot persist. We have to make changes. And I remember this also led to the establishment of young teachers. I can say talking about the word that is the TFC, Teachers for Change Task Force Committee. What do you think are some of the reasons that led to the establishment of the erection of the Teachers for Change?
Yeah, in the aspect of the incentives, as you say, you know, sometimes it's difficult in this country to become a teacher, definitely. Yeah. Because if you look at it, as you said, there are not much incentives as a teacher, apart from receiving your salary. Maybe if you work hardly somewhere to get a private school, or you have a study classes that you run, you know, that may be some of those things that will keep you. Yeah. And those things too are not very easy to run nowadays, you know. So it's definitely something that is lacking. But with the current leadership of the GTU, especially with the coming of this new categorization of schools, that will create a lot of incentives, and I can say a lot of gap for young teachers to fill in the leadership role in our school system. Okay. Because if schools are recategorized, that tells you that there will be a lot of vacancies of heads, deputies, you know, vice principals, you know, on senior masters. So obviously young teachers will come up, you know. So those are some of the things that are there for the young teachers. If you talk about the creation of the...
Okay, now before you come to the TFC formation, now I want to ask you, like if you are given an opportunity to create allowances for teachers, what are some of the allowances that you intend to create for teachers in this country?
To be honest, if you say creating allowances for teachers, that would be a matter of policy. You know, it must be a policy thing that you have to create in the laws to make sure that these things happen. Because remember, that is why sometimes people are very much ambitious if they lobby certain things, because those are things that are already supported as laws. Yes. So in order to change those things, it is that same law that has to change first. So that is why, like you say, if you have to create certain allowances, it has to be things that teachers will, the union will sit and look, or even members can submit suggestions to the union that this and that is what we want to see happen.
Okay, don't you think the union, also together with the Ministry of Basic, MOPSI, to push the agenda? Because you have seen different institutions in the Gambia here trying to seek the interest of their members. Even though they are not preso group, but GTU as a preso group in the Gambia here, that's stood for the welfare of teachers in this country. Don't you think it's a matter of urgency for the GTU to collaborate with the Ministry of Basic to initiate bill to the Parliament for the allowance of teachers?
Yes, that is a good idea, and that is going to be the best thing so far if it happens. Okay. But as I said earlier, we cannot just all cannot come at once. Okay. But right now, with the recent recategorization of schools, I think that is another aspect that will do good for the teachers. I know if you talk about recategorization of schools, a lot of teachers out there will say that is just a purpose thing, is useless. But it's because they don't understand. And the union will take it as a responsibility to make sure that they educate the members on those things through organizing bantabas at the level of the clusters and at the level of the union, for teachers to understand what is all embedded in the issue of recategorization of schools, because that is going to give teachers another level, you know, only if they understand.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Kamara. Just to remind the viewers that you are following us live on Jungle Entertainment Universe, your number one weekly fascinating program, the Teachers Hour, a program that comes over every Saturday only on this platform. And today, our discussion is centered on the prospect of young teachers in the Gambia education system. And today in the studio, I'm joined by Mr. Amadou Kamara, the General Chairman, Region 1 of the Regional Executive Committee under the Gambia Teachers Union. And we are talking about the young teachers' the role in the Gambia education system. Now, Mr. Kamara, as I stated earlier, that is the status of, and of course, the establishment of the task force, Teachers for Change. Many will say this body or this the agency has been established, even though they are not registered, but I know they have been pushing the agenda of teachers. Because while we have in the Gambia Teachers Union serving as the umbrella board of teachers, and of course to agitate and of course for fight for their rights and their welfare as teachers in the Gambia, we also have seen that the task force of Teachers for Change also been instituted in the Gambia by few young teachers. Also, they have support from a lot of young teachers in the Gambia here to agitate for their rights and of course their welfare from the central government. What do you think is the main purpose, or was the main purpose for establishment of such a group?
Yeah, like I said earlier, if you look, most of the young teachers, especially those that are considered young teachers, are disconnected from the union. You are not getting information about their union. Some of them don't know what the union was doing for them. At some point, this popular question started to come. What is GTU doing? You know, so as a result, they feel being neglected and not represented. They came together and formed a group. To me, it's not bad to have a pressure group in a group to make sure that the executives are up to the tax.
Okay, don't you think they also have the notion that maybe the union is not serving their interests well, or maybe they're not satisfied with their work?
Yeah, that's just what I said. Like, they feel disconnected with the union.
Yeah, so.
Like, the union was not there for them. The union was not doing anything for them. I'm just trying to think the way they think.
Yeah, so.
You know, so that is why at some point they have to do it their own way.
Yeah, so I see.
You know, but as we speak right now, majority of those people have now understood exactly what the union is doing and what the union is up to. And also at some point, the union also have its own weakness. And at some point, the communication aspect of it was lacking. And I think that is why right now, the Gambia Teachers Union has a communication officer who communicates on a daily basis. If you look at the Gambia Teachers Union Facebook page, it's among the most active pages where teachers receive their updates. So now the union is communicating everything that happens in the union. Is updated on daily basis. So now teachers are getting updates about what the union is doing for them. So to me, having like Teachers for Change, you know, young teachers for change, old teachers for change, everybody for change is not bad.
Yeah.
You know, what is bad is the way we do it. But if you have a pressure group that puts pressure on the executive to work, to me, it's not a bad thing, you know. Yeah. So, but what is going to be bad is if we are divided as teachers. That is going to be very, very bad for us. The government will celebrate that because now that they will say, because as the saying goes, unity is strength. So if you have two bodies, meaning there's no longer unity. Yeah. So we will lose strength at some point.
Certainly. Yeah. That is interesting enough. But also, maybe you also learned that one may say the establishment of the Teachers for Change led to the creation of the Young Teachers Platform.
No, like I said earlier, the creation of the Young Teachers Platform has nothing to do with the TFC. Okay. The Young Teachers Platform was created, it was a resolution that was passed at the level of the EI, and Gambia is a member of the EI, so they do as the global body dictates. Okay. So that was it. And as well, the Gambia Teachers Union created the Young Teachers Platform simply because as the membership grows, the young teachers are becoming the majority and they need to be represented well. So that is it. It's not about anything that has to do with Teachers for Change.
That is so clear.
Yes.
That is so clear. Now, Mr. Kamara, our topic today is talking about the prospect of young teachers in the Gambia education system. What significant role, or I can say the achievement, registered so far since the establishment of Young Teachers Platform?
Congress, you could see the level in which young teachers assume the leadership role. The chairperson in region 5 North was a cluster councillor of the YTP. He contested and won the elections. The regional chairperson, the chairperson in region 5 North was a cluster councillor of the YTP. He contested and won the elections. The regional chairperson for region 1 is also a young teacher. The vice chairperson of region 1 is a young teacher. The vice chairperson in region 4 is also a young teacher. You see, this gives you go to the Ladies Society, the vice chairperson there, the treasurer, they are all young teachers.
So, I mean, they are telling us that the Gambia Teachers Union is trying to empower young teachers in this country.
Yes, the young teacher, even the chairperson in region 4 is as well a young teacher. The chairperson in region 5 South is also a young teacher. So in the National Executive Committee now, you could see the number of young teachers there. Because the Young Teachers Platform chairperson also sits there. So that tells you the awareness the YTP created to make sure that teachers are aware, teachers come up to assume the leadership role, and now from there we'll be going to the cluster elections. Now you will also see how the young teachers will be interested in the leadership role. So this tells you that the YTP did very well in sensitizing teachers to take ownership of the union, because that was the main focus that the YTP focused on.
If I got you right, it seems like you are telling us that the Young Teachers Platform have tried their best to ensure that they pull or bring the young teachers closer to the union for them to know what is happening by creating a different platform for them to channel the communication between the union and the young teachers, for them also to understand what the G2 is there and what they are there for them. So that is a remarkable thing registered so far by the Gambia Teachers Union through the Young Teachers Platform. You have to commend them for that. But now we're coming to the level. You're talking about G2 position towards helping the young teachers.
And recently, the Young Teachers Platform embarked in celebrating the Youth Day through a tree planting exercise in the North Bank of the country and also in CRR North.
I have seen that,
So the young teachers are contributing toward mitigating the climate change. You know? So that tells you, if you look at that, it's strategically done. Because in that part of the country is where they are starting to experience this desertification.
And drought,
so many familiarization meetings were done. So many football tournaments were organized to make sure that teachers familiarize themselves with the GTU, CCU, with the leadership of the union. They come to know each other. And the more we know each other as members of this union, the more we understand each other.
Yes, as I was asking, that's a remarkable thing. Seeing the young teachers on the Gambia Teachers Union embarking on such a noble cause is very key. It's all about mitigating climate change resilience. So, but I think coming to this level now, as I was asking, that the GTU, through the Young Teachers Platform, is trying to empower young teachers in the Gambia here. Do you think the same thing is reflecting on the side of the ministry?
Yes, even at the level of the ministry, at some point, though I do not work at the ministry, I wouldn't say a lot there, but I've seen potential young education officials. You know, I can see fresh graduates from the university are appointed as cluster monitors. And if you go to the level, even at the ministry, at the HR department, you see young male and female education officials. So that tells you that the young ones are growing.
I think also it's rightful also to have a young minister in the ministry, if possible. What's your take on that?
Anyway, that depends, and it's a political appointment.
All right.
So that will lies on the president.
Or can have what you call the administrative head. The permanent secretary can be part of the young teachers, whereby they can, because I know even the minister currently she was one time regional director, a teacher of course, before her appointment. Until her appointment, she was serving as regional director, Region 6. I know most of them who are working at the ministry right now, they must know some of the problems faced by teachers in the system. Most especially young teachers nowadays, because as I stated earlier, these old teachers, they have been in the system for quite a long time now, and they have been bearing injuries on some of the things that they face. That's why I try to mention some of the issues like the incentives, mostly when it comes to the issue of the allowances, which are not much impressive to the side of young teachers in the Gambia here. That's why I was very quick to ask you, don't you think it's necessary or it's very urgent for the Ministry of Basic to table a bill before National Assembly members, whereby they also discuss and ratify, so at least can also suit
that is an expectation.
Improve on their lives and their livelihood.
That is an expectation. Because I can remember one of the sittings at the parliament, one of the MPs, I can remember is MP for Bintang, Bakari K. Baji, did told the minister that why not they come up with something to make sure they look at it and they will support it at the level of the assembly to make sure that teachers get certain things, certain incentives, like things like dress allowance and stuffs like that.
Risk allowance and other allowances as well. But also we have seen that a lot of teachers are leaving the system. I don't know whether your observation have come to that level. A lot of young teachers are leaving. Even though we are having more young teachers coming to the system, but also quite a number of them are also leaving. And those who are leaving also, they are also an asset to the nation when it comes to teaching field. But I believe if the government of the Gambia, through the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, is not giving much incentive, teachers will leave. How do you see the level of retention of teachers in the system, most especially young teachers?
As you said, that is a very difficult thing to maintain young teachers in the field because everybody comes with his ambition.
Yes.
And as the saying goes, we are all in search of greener pastures. Sure. So anywhere that is green,
that's where you
head to.
Yeah.
So that is something that we cannot control. You know, I know you and I today, if we are given an offer somewhere that is more lucrative to where we are, we will tend to go. But I know as a ministry, they should be in a better position to make sure they bring up with issues that will make sure that the teachers are retained in the system. Yeah.
This will bring me to this question of scholarship package for young teachers. Teachers are very optimistic, being joined in the teaching field to serve the nation, to teach young people, of course, to mold them, to develop them, to become good future leaders of this country, and even beyond the confine of the Gambia. But you have seen that teachers want to further their education, to learn. But scholarship become a problem for teachers in this country. What is your own say on this part?
Thank you. That takes me back to the theme of this year's Congress. That is, for quality service delivery, you must invest in education. And investment in education begins with the teacher.
Teachers, yeah.
You cannot, anything that you do in the education sector, if it does not reflect on the teacher, I do not see it being successful. Because it is that teacher who goes back to the classroom and teach the students. And anything that you do, you can build the nice classrooms, good furniture, whatever. But if that teacher who is going into that classroom is not happy, is not motivated, is not capacitized, I do not think things will really work well in the classroom. So capacitizing teachers, especially by giving them scholarship to go and study, is something that should be privatized. But as it stands right now, we've seen that a good number of teachers are given scholarships at the level of the MRC Holland, at the level of Child Fund, ministry itself, you know, higher education, you know, and other parastatals are given young teachers. Because like, if you look at me, I did my PTC in 2014 and finished in 2017. And I served 1 year, I was confirmed, I went back to do my HTC. And majority of my batch mates all came back to do their HTC. And they were all given scholarship by the ministry. And a good number of them are all young teachers. And you could see a good number of teachers that are going to the university, UTG or IOU, are all young. Most of them are also young teachers, and they have been given scholarship by the ministry, and others are given by MRC Holland, and the ministry is giving them study leaves with salary. So as it stands, though it's not enough, but something is happening.
Yeah, as you stated during the campaign trial, one of the aspirants who later won the election as president of GTU, Mr. Ismail Essise, among his campaign promises, I can say the 16-point agenda, he talked about a very special issue of allocating or try to provide scholarship for teachers in the Gambia here. I think that's was another way of uplifting to uplift their standard, and of course to develop themselves. Because as you stated, it's very difficult to just one thing you talk about is a theme for this year's Congress. There's to invest in education for quality, to invest on the education in the Gambia here. And when it comes to investment in education here, to bring about quality and relevant service delivery, then you have to empower teachers. And those teachers who are to be empowered, among them you have young teachers there, both male and female teachers who are also serving the nation. So this is very key for the side of the GTU and of course the ministry, because the GTU serve as a body just to try by all means to mediate and of course also to agitate for the welfare of teachers in the Gambia here. And of course to negotiate with the government to get a certain incentive for teachers. But I believe if so some of those things and some of these things rather have been implemented to suit the interests and of course the aspiration of teachers, they're also able to uplift their standard to have self-development in the area of teaching. So this is another important thing right now. Now coming to you, Mr. Kamara, is the issue of your responsibility as the regional chairman. How do you normally cooperate with the rest of the team members, most especially when it comes to your executive and the young teachers in this country?
Thank you.
Of your region, rather.
Thank you. You see, the regional executive is structured in a way that it's an all-inclusive thing.
Yes.
Like you have clusters, like let's say GTU clusters in Region 1.
Okay.
And they are 11. So meaning in each cluster, you have what you call the cluster executives, headed by a cluster care person.
Yes.
And that cluster care person sits in the regional executive committee, in the REC. You see? Now that cluster care person there represents the teachers in that particular cluster.
Okay.
And in the regional executive committee, you have principal officers. That is, we have the care person, you have the GTU Ladies Society Regional Coordinator, or Regional Chairperson, they call it. You have the GTU YTP Regional Coordinator in the Regional Executive Committee. The YTP Coordinator for Region 1 will be in the Regional Executive Committee. The Ladies Society Regional Chairperson will be in the Regional Executive Committee. The Vice Chair President, the Treasurer, and those are the ones that are called the principal officers. And now together with all the 11 cluster care positions, make up the Regional Executive Committee. So now at the level of the Regional Executive Committee, you create your own bylaws that will govern you as a region. Because regions are different, so the realities in various regions are different. Though we have a constitution that governs everybody, but as a regional executive committee, you also create your own bylaws to make sure that that becomes your guiding tool towards executing your functions as an executive of that particular region.
So one can say it's all inclusive.
It's all inclusive. So,
all right.
So because like if you are drawing an action plan, the YTP regional coordinator will bring in issues that has to look at young teachers. The Ladies Society chairperson will also bring in issues that has to do with female teachers. You see? And now we look at things together at the regional executive committee, who will look at generally members of that region. So now nobody will be left behind. And you cannot be biased to a particular set because each of the groups is represented in the executive.
Yes, hopefully we also like to have the Ladies Society to also talk about some of the challenges faced by female teachers in our schools. But before then, Mr. Kamara, before we make the close of the program, because we have a few minutes to go, what will be your final message to the government and GTU when it comes to the welfare of teachers, young teachers in this country?
My final message goes to the young teachers out there. I just want us to be very much optimistic. Better must come, and it's just a matter of time. And let us embrace the union. You see, if we want to bring the issues of us and them,
yeah,
it is going to deter our development as a union.
Certainly.
And unity is strength. Let us not divide for any reason.
Yeah.
We can have divergent views. We can be different in opinion.
Yeah.
But let's all see that the Gambian Teachers Union is what we have, and we have to embrace it. You know, let's have that unity and collaboration among us.
Okay.
The young teachers, our time will come, and we will get, especially with the issue of this school recategorization, a lot of young teachers will have space to assume some leadership roles in our school system. And also to the government, we want that maximum cooperation. We are not enemies. We, members of the Gambian Teachers Union, are not enemies to government, and I know equally government is not an enemy to us.
Yeah,
so all what we need is collaboration. Come we collaborate, consult us. We will talk about issues that has to deal with teachers in this country. So for the young teachers, the future is very, very bright as far as this field is concerned.
The future is very, very bright as far as this field is concerned. Of course, good time will come for the young teachers of the country. This is the word of the Regional Chairman, Region 1 of the General Executive Committee under the Gambian Teachers Union, Mr. Amadou Kamara. It's a pleasure having you here today. Thank you so much, Mr. Kamara, for coming.
Thank you.
All right. Well, viewers, this brings us to the end of today's edition of our weekly fascinating program, the Teachers Hour, a program that comes over every Saturday. Only on Jungle Online TV, your #1 entertainment and of course education TV in the Gambia. And we are streaming live from our studios in Sukutalamba. And of course, I'm your host, Babakar Jambe. We are saying thank you so much for always being there for us until we come on your way next week, the same time on our weekly program. Of course, just to remind you, continue to follow on our subsequent, our interesting programs on our social media platforms on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, of course, on Twitter. Thank you so much. Until we come away next week, it's a bye from me. Thank you.